We are surely blessed by our music team at Unity of Tampa. Thank you, John, Elliot, Alvin, and of course, Olivia, who shows up every week and blesses us. Good morning again. Today, it is my blessing to share with you a message which I hope will be aspirational for you. The message title is Come What May. It's kind of funny this week. We got lost in the message title and we couldn't remember whether it was Come What May or May What Come. And we figured it out by going to the bulletin board and looking at one of our own announcements. So we're getting to that time now where we're going to part company. My work as your interim and transitional minister is coming to a conclusion. And we are very excited to share with you, and Maureen and I will have more feedback this afternoon at 12 o'clock when we have our quick town hall update right after the service. We've received, I believe, Maureen, 6 or 7 resumes of candidate ministers. And that's a wonderful interest in your ministry. And so today I wanted to share with you and give you some hope and some inspiration for this time, because we all know how wonderful transitions and change can be, right? And we all just love that, don't we? Yeah. You know, as human beings, we like the things that change bring to us, but we often struggle just a little bit with that process of going through transition. And I want to try and comfort you today and give you courage and confidence in these words that we are in divine order. We are in the bosom of God. We are safe and secure in our one source and our one supply of good. And that the promised land has been prepared. And if we stay faithful in just 3 things, the best may come. The best might be our resolution. And those 3 things are that we remain prayerful, that we keep prayer as our number one spiritual practice, that we hold this community in the practice of prayer. The second principle is that we stay strong in faith, that we do not waver in our belief and our expectation that the one presence and power that manifests our good is with us at this time, is guiding us through this process. And the third principle is strong in faith and steadfast in love. Let our love not waver at this time. It is love that is going to give us the energy to energize our faith and to energize our prayers and bring us into a closer union and harmony with the possibility of our highest good that has already been prepared for Unity of Tampa. Over the next 2 or 3 months, however long this transition takes, I will constantly say thank you to you for this opportunity to serve you. Can you believe it's a year? I do. I shave every day. I'm like, you're looking older, man. It's been a year. And the time has seemed to have gone so quickly. I was making a list the other day of just some of the things that we have achieved. Some of them have been easy achievements. Some of them have come with a little human experience attached to them. But we can be proud of the work that has been done. You have been courageous and confident in your divine good. You have set a good foundation for a new minister and spiritual leader to step in and to help you step forward and more fully into what is next for you. Transitions are always a time of testing. It's a time of testing for everybody, for the minister, for the board, for the teams, and of course for the membership. It is a process of releasing that which is past. And that is not saying that you're releasing something that is not good, but you're releasing something that has come into its maturity in time. It has served its purpose. It has brought you to this good place that you are in, and it is opening the door to the receiving of what is next. All things held in prayer and faith and love can and will serve your highest good. Transition is a path and a process of unfolding. It's an experience and an expression of evolving, lovingly evolving into what is next, what is better, and what is a higher good for you. Transition requires an attitude and an intention. It requires us to change our attitude about change and to change our intention about what is next. To leave behind the fear of what is unknown and to hold on to the faith of God's presence and power. That is the one sure thing in our lives. The one thing that is completely reliable, completely trustworthy. We as human beings, we waver. You know, we are frail. We have our shortcomings. We have our weaknesses. But the God presence in each one of us is completely faithful to be reliable to our highest good. And as we hold that truth about ourselves, individually we have to extend that truth to each other. Because the presence and power in me that gives me hope is the presence and power in you that gives you hope and gives me hope in us together. So this is a time of testing, but it is also a time of trust. Trust in God, being prayerful, being strong in faith, being steadfast in love. Our trust in God requires us to let go of some things and to let God. To let go and to let God. If we remain constant in prayer, strong in our faith, steadfast in love, God will show up in our lives individually and in our ministry collectively. God is completely reliable in that aspect. Come what may is an attitude and an intention that empowers our individual and collective highest good. In times of transition and change, we open ourselves to a fuller unfolding of God's guidance to our greater good of what may come. Come what may, in faith and love becomes what may come. God is infinitely potential. With God, all things are possible. And at this time, God invites us to test that. God invites us to test that we live in a presence and power that is infinitely potential, with which all things are possible. So why do we pray? Let's take these three aspects and look at them individually. We pray because prayer connects us. Prayer connects us to God as this one presence and power. Prayer connects us to God so we can communicate with God. We can tell this presence and power what it is we are fearful of. We can tell this presence and power what it is that we're feeling insecure about. We can tell this presence and power what our hopes and desires are. And this is not a one-way communication. This connection opens up a channel of two-way communication. This presence and power that we call God can give us courage and confidence to stay strong in our faith, to remain steadfast in our love. And as we become more connected and our communication becomes more authentic, we learn more how to collaborate with this one presence and power. Remember, there is one presence and power active in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. This thing that we call God has one purpose, and that is to bring what is true and good into material manifestation in us and through us. And prayer is the means by which we daily connect and communicate and collaborate with that presence, giving it access to our minds and hearts and our hands so that it can complete the process of manifestation. Our second principle is faith. We are called to be strong in faith. Faith is our ability to behold. It's a visionary exercise to see things that don't exist yet. Faith are the eyes of divine potential and possibility. Faith gives us access to things that lie beyond the conscious awareness of the mind and the material manifestation of the world. We see what is possible, what is coming into being, what is being revealed through the divine. It's an evolving and an unfolding process, and faith lets us look into the future and to behold the good that is coming. And in this beholding of faith, we are strong. Faith strengthens us. Faith secures us. Faith gives juice to our prayers. Faith gives energy to our lives, so that nothing will discourage us and nothing will deter us from the potential and possibility that God has prepared for us individually and for us as a ministry. And then love. The principle and practice of love. Love is that binding quality of God. Love is the thing that binds us to God and binds us to each other. It is the energy that brings us into union and harmony with truth and union and harmony with good. We are called to be steadfast in our love. Our love needs to be authentic and sincere. We're not perfect. Sometimes in our love we make mistakes. But we believe and our faith is strong, and we circle back and we try again. We connect with prayer. We are refreshed and renewed. We come back to the act and the experience of love. Love binds us, and in this binding we are steadfast, and nothing again will discourage us, and nothing will deter us from being loving to each other and creating the energy of love in our ministry. Because the energy of love is the energy that attracts our good. It helps us desire what is good, helps us attract what is good, helps us come into union and harmony with what is good. And so we are prayerful. We pray, we connect, we communicate, we collaborate. We are strong in faith, and we are steadfast in love. And as we practice these three aspects of turning transition from change and challenge into a new attitude and intention, we will release and bless what is past, and we will receive the blessing of what is next, what is new. We will behold and by faith, and we will be bound by love, and together we will get through this experience. Transition and change can be an exciting time in our lives individually and in our ministry if we choose that for ourselves. My encouragement to you today is, let that be our attitude and intention going forward. Be actively involved in what is going on in your spiritual community and your ministry now more than ever. Let your voice be heard. Participate in the meetings. Show up for the evaluations. Come out and see the new ministers that come and try. This is the threshold of something new and exciting for you. And we are safe and secure in infinite potential and possibility. In closing, I want to say this. Come what may is an attitude and an intention that powers us individually and collectively to step more fully into our highest good, in times of transition and times of change. As we open ourselves to the deeper insight of God's guidance, we prepare ourselves for the receiving of a new minister and spiritual leader. May the infinite divine potential and possibility of what may come be transformed by prayer and faith and love into come what may. Let it be, and so it is. Thank you. Join us now as John leads us in song and we prepare our hearts for meditation.
In this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, is in this very